We live on the cutting edge of physics, material science, engineering, and nanotechnology. Because at Lockheed Martin, we're engineering a better tomorrow.
All right. So, let's see here. Before we start my show, I have to send a quick text message. At USASEF, at Tenaya Hurst, at STEM, at Wearable Tech, at Rogue Making, at This Is How We Make.
This is how we make. This is how we make.
Waking up, what to make, how can we innovate a better modern city?
This is how we make.
Think IoT, you know me, writing tweets, hope my view is new and witty. Teach the class, spread the word, I'm a nerd, we could form a whole nerd committee.
This is how we make.
We code this, connect that, heck yeah, all my girls code and still look pretty. This thread is steel, there we go, this stainless steel. This thread is steel, sew it head to heel. This is how we make, yeah, sewing it, connecting it, yeah, we make it like that. This is how we make, make. This is how we make, this is how we make, yeah, sensors and outputs, parallel circuits where it's at. This is how we make, so. This is how we make. When I dream of a wireless community, we use you and that's an Arduino. Software, course I care, code it right through the night and just use the Linino. Now think big, get the gig, teach the kids how to learn, fail, and be a maker. At my soldering class, rogue making in the grass, we're gonna need more than an acre. Blipless is surreal. It's got appeal. You'll hear my spiel. Blipless is for real. This is how we make, yeah, soldering, melting it, stuff resistors into PCB. This is how we make, melt. This is how we make, this is how we make, yeah, sensors, resistors, LEDs, we blink it like that. This is how we make, solder. This is how we make. Now this is a shout out to all the ladies who love STEM. Wow!
It's how we make coding like that.
I want to teach you. Yo, this goes out to all you makers, prototyping at Maker Monday, but it's Tuesday. Get some sleep, makers. Shout out to all you kids buying wearable tech with your allowance money. It's electric. This is how we make, yeah, coding it, controlling it, micro is the internet of T. This is how we make, decoder. This is how we make, this is how we make, yeah, drilling it, milling it, yeah, Dad, we're cutting into wood. This is how we make, drill. This is how we make. To all you makers out there, going to sleep with an idea, but waking up with a plan. Exactly. And to all the OG makers like our grandparents, respect.
This is how we make.
Wait, no, bring the heat back. This is how we make. Some of you might know I love wiener dogs. See if you can spot my wiener dog. Totally. Thank you guys so much. I hope you can still see me through my shades. These are my favorite thing about wearable tech, combining programming, lights, circuitry, and exciting other kids to get involved into STEM. So I have a very short presentation for you guys that I got to deliver at XSTEM this year. And so I hope you enjoy. And then you can visit me at my booth, 757, over by Connects, and try it out for yourself. So here we go. A quick thank you, of course, to the USA Science and Engineering Festival, who booked me a year and a half ago. That's why I'm here. And a big thanks to Arduino. That's who I work for. I'm known as Arduino Woman. And I met my CEO, Federico, at a fair kind of like this, and I told him, I'm obsessed with Arduino. I have to work for you. And also through Arduino, I met my maker mentor, Kathy Giori, and she wishes she could be here with me. We'll be back together in 2 years. So, this is my CRED, because of course we're trying to inspire all of our students out there to aspire to college, declare that major in a STEM field, or if you're like me, you can just keep adding majors. So I declared as a theater and drama major, and then I just had to add geology because I love rocks, and then I love archaeology and studying old rocks that ancient civilizations used to make beautiful objects. And so I call myself a geoanthropactress and Arduino woman. And I've also been to ACT. I also was so grateful to receive Phi Beta Kappa status. It was amazing. And so I hope all of you can achieve Eta Kappa Nu or Tau Beta Pi. Ooh. And rogue making is something I started because at the Tech Museum of Innovation, late at night, after the museum closed, we like to do some rogue making until the insurance people said we couldn't do that anymore. But then I said, that'll be my company name. I love it. So I make in people's basements and in churches and in schools and all over. So I became a maker at the Tech Museum because one magical day I found out about Arduino. This lab coat has conductive fabric down the sleeves and an Arduino in the pocket. And when I would shake someone's hand and they touched the conductive fabric on my sleeve, it played notes like a piano. It was just such a revelation. I changed my life from that moment. I was like, this is all I want to do. And of course, there was one little 5-year-old that day who I went up to and I said, hey, you should check out my coat. Do you know what an Arduino is? And of course, like every 5-year-old in the Silicon Valley, he's like, oh, I know what an Arduino is. And I was like, this 5-year-old knows what an Arduino is, and I didn't. So I'm showing him now, right? He's probably like 7 or 8. So this is what I thought wearable tech would be, right? We make a circuit, and then we just wear a bunch of light bulbs, right? That'd be awesome. It turns out it's a little bit, maybe that would be a little heavy. So I am now a Maker Faire gal. Oh, and hey, that's a cute dress. I should wear that. Oh, I am wearing it. So you can also find me at Maker Faire, where I love to also inspire students at that event. So I don't show samples at workshops. Empty slide. This is my style I've learned, and I call it rogue, because we all take classes where teachers show us exactly how to make something. And it's like this big end result we all have to do. That's so boring to me. I want some freedom. And what I learned is even in electronics, there's creativity. So here's how we go rogue. We prototype. We get out our alligator clips and our lights, and I welcome both boys and girls to try the circuitry because we're not gonna sew right away. We're gonna see what happens with our coin cell battery. We're gonna learn about polarity of LEDs, and I get these battery packs on purpose, these ones, because it doesn't say which side is plus or minus. It's so hilarious. And so the kids have to really think and try, and there's like 5 ways you can fit a battery in there. I love it. And there's the little LED, washable, sewable, has a resistor, surface mount. Who even knew I'd be saying those things 3 years ago? It is an amazing LED. Let me show you at my booth. So those are our materials, but then we go rogue. Look at what my students have done at Maker Fairs in class. I love that one in the upper right. Look, Ma, no alligator clips. So kids learn that the safety pins, the needles, are conductors. And they're so creative with their circuit. I love that little one alligator clip one. Awesome. And we want to also help the kids learn how to design. So I have a great worksheet. I can share it with all of you. And you get some pencils, I recommend. Erasable pencils, because we want to mess up. We don't want to tell kids, here's pens, and if you mess up, you need a whole new sheet or something. You know, I recommend. That's a little tip. And then here's that worksheet again with students filling it out and solving ways that they would plan to sew into a garment. And this one is blown up really big, so you guys can probably see students solved this all kinds of different ways by making a positive track and a negative track. But you don't want the threads to cross. Maybe you want to design it with as least thread as possible. There's options. But as long as it works with your alligator clips. So after we do the worksheet, we can use fritzing. So this is another tip for my makers out there, FRITZING. Download it today, and you can prototype not only with your Arduino, but with your lily pad components. So much fun. And then this is a warning that boys go rogue. I've learned this. Since my first days teaching boys, I was like, oh, this is a little different than what I was expecting. Boys will take all your alligator clips and all your lights, and they will try to cover the whole table. So bring extras. And of course, when things break, boys love that because then you can take it apart. And this whole thing about competition is interesting too. So I've learned to adapt to that in some of my little robot projects as well. So another way that you can go rogue, because sometimes I've forgotten the alligator clips, and I use the thread itself to just tape it down to the components. This is a great way to do a quick workshop. I had a little birthday party the other day, and we all thought, yeah, these 7-year-olds, they'll be able to sew in like an hour. Turns out it was easier to just give them a piece of paper, some thread, some LEDs, tape it down, see it working, and then they could take it home and sew it when they had more time. So really cool thing to do, to go rogue. So this is the middle step to show you guys what happens is once we sew half of the circuit, keep those alligator clips out because you want to test it. You wouldn't just wire up the whole White House, right, and then turn on the light and hope it works out for Mr. Obama. No, you want to test it as you go. So you can see on the cool Star Wars backpack and this pink pony, that's one of my famous projects because it was really rogue. And there we go. It's going for me. This is some of the finished projects. So, I guess I am showing some samples after all, but that's okay. That's okay. Just so you can see the epicness and the creativity. So I really recommend Wearable Tech as a way to get kids involved in electronics because they get to have their own little ego moment, their ownership of my lights are going to spell SF for SF Giants. My lights are going to be the water coming out of an elephant's trunk. It's so creative. And what would be next for us is to move on to the programmable lily pad, which combines the Arduino software, codes, and sketches with this same circuitry and the conductive thread that we're familiar with. So I will tell you more about that at my booth if you want to see me, 757, how an Arduino and a lily pad are the same thing, except for one sewable and one you use jumper wires. And now I'm going to show you guys a little competition I have between who's more rogue, me or my students. So, I'm sorry, we're gonna do this after I show you my mission. It is the next one. So here's my one slide with words. My main mission is, of course, to combine technology with old maker skills. I know my grandma and my grandpa and my mom would be so proud that I'm teaching kids how to sew, but then also with electronics, which is new and exciting. And of course, working as a team is a great thing I love to encourage. When I first started at the Tech Museum, they told me a problem in the STEM field is that we can't communicate with each other. A chemist has to talk to a physicist, and an electrical engineer has to talk to a mechanical engineer. So communication is always a great thing to learn. All right, now we're gonna do this rogue thing. All right, here we go. So, this epicness. This is the first rogue picture, you guys. Yes. So glad my lab coat had a pocket for my phone. So these kids, I just had them make like a little switch in our electrical engineering little field trip class at the Tech. And they're just supposed to make a switch with one light, 2 wires, nothing. I turned my back. And this group of boys worked as a team to combine the popsicle sticks, these random motors, extra wires. They combined all their battery packs, and they made this fortress. And I was like, ooh. You want to give boundaries in your class, but let your kids go a little rogue. It was awesome. But how can I compete with that? Well, yeah, I can make a hair bow on a city bus. I have a place to be, but, I can make something on the way. And what else is pretty epic is this is something that my students made. Whenever I wear my LED shades, I inspire students to create their own wearable tech. So this was a pair of brothers from France that were joining us for a summer camp. And they said, I want to sew, but we really want cool LED shades like you. So they glued conductive thread to the side with the LEDs. So rogue. But how can I compete? Well, yeah. On the NYC Metro, I have places to be, and I might need a new blipless necklace. So I can just assemble that, you know. Sometimes you're on there for an hour or so. And what is more rogue than that? More wannabe shades. This boy, he made this on the Friday of the end of our week. He cut out 2 cups. He put his lights on the outside, and he was so cute. He's like, which side is the battery on your shades? Because I want mine to be on the same side. So cute. And, oh, I'm back in New York because I like to make in Central Park on the Manhattan schist. Yeah. And, oh, I guess that shirt that I made ended up in a fashion show. So I'm a little bit rogue, definitely. But doesn't she look cute? Oh, my God. I love working with models. And what's more rogue than that? Rogue socks. Oh my goodness, this student was so cool. And look how she invented the way to use the ruler inside, and she mostly sewed it from the outside because it's hard to get into a sock to sew. And of course, that caught on. A lot of people made rogue socks that class. But how can I be more rogue? Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I gotta program my LED shades on the way to a party or out to dinner. And so I was caught rogue making on my passenger side of my car. I was like, oh, we gotta upload some new code. Don't worry, our LED shades will soon be Bluetooth and IoT, so you can upload your new code from your phone. And oh my gosh, one more pair of epic LED shades inspiredness. Who is this kid who sews lights inside his ski goggles? Interesting. And how can I compete with that? Oh, at Mel's Diner, you know, might need a little bumblebee wings with some lights. You know, it could happen to you. Just don't spill coffee. And what's more rogue than that? Oh my gosh, sewing lights into your Minecraft shirt while wearing it. That's getting pretty rogue. That's pretty serious. How can I compete with that? Well, I bet I can solder at JFK when I miss my flight. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, I'm not trying to be a threat to national security. I just missed my flight. So I hung out at the baggage claim, found an outlet, soldered up some blipless. That's how I do it. But what is still more rogue than that is the accidental fez. So if you come visit me at booth 757, I'll show you my ArtBot project and kit. And this boy, he came up to me. He sort of knew he was joking, but he's like, Tenaya, I tried to make an ArtBot, like a cup that wiggles with pens, and I made an accidental fez. And he was like all crushed. But his friends then made them too. So you early adopters, don't be afraid to make something weird, or if a mistake happens with your project, go with it. It could catch on. But what can I compete with that? Oh, I guess it's this.
Camera action going.
This is Tim with his lead beard. Beardables.
Totally. And oh, that's cool. It's spinned upside down, even funnier. Because the ladies out there will know there's like this cool hairpiece that you can break apart, and it has like teeth. And he just like shoved that under his beard, and we like soldered LEDs onto it, of course, before assembling it there. And of course, it matched the RGB LED shades. So this is my last little bit. So going rogue, again, is, you know, these are some of my little like tips I give to kids, is to treat every makerspace like a chemistry lab. Like you wouldn't go into a chem lab and start like, oh, hey, Mrs. Hurst, oh, I'm gonna like combine things. No, so when you go to any lab, just observe, wait for instruction, and look with your eyes. We know that instruction. And the big one is when someone is showing you, an OG maker is teaching you, you gotta listen, you gotta pay attention. Sometimes I'm showing a kid how to do something close up, and they're over here looking here. Gotta give respect to that OG maker. And lastly is, of course, stay open to that collaboration with your teammates and open to mistakes. So, lastly, and I brought one with me. My whole thing with rogue making is I fundraise to bring money and electronics, basically, to Guatemala. So I have a little variety pack I made just for this event, and it has 2 paper gems that I'm wearing right here, and a paper greeting card, and my BumbleBot project, but a patriotic version, Patribotic. So come on over and check that out, and I'll have it on Etsy after this event too. So thank you guys so much. These are some of the kids that I work with in Guatemala, and I love teaching all over the US, New York, Washington, D.C., Florida, Seattle, Denver, Chicago. I do it all. So see you at 757, and I hope you had a great time. Oh yeah, save these weird things for me. Save weird things for yourself. I love those printer caps. I want to make something cool and tribal. Help me out. All right, there we go. Thank you guys so much. You're the best.